I've never snorkeled before. It was like being inside a scene from Little Mermaid. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, we saw coral reefs, rainbow fish, sea turtles. And if you go to Kona Island specifically, you have to rent the snorkel gear and head to a spot called Two Step. Welcome back to the RV Queens podcast, where we are all about supporting and celebrating women making money on the road. If you are one of my loyal ride or die listeners who never misses an episode, first of all, thank you for listening. Love it. Second of all, you've probably noticed that things have been a little quieter around here this summer, and that is because for the first time since launching this podcast, I actually gave myself a summer break. Yes, seriously, a little pause, a little reset. And it's been exactly what I needed. Okay, quick sidebar before we dive in. Did you know that this episode that you're listening to right now is episode number 101 of the RV Queens podcast? That's right. Since launching in April of 2023, we've now crossed the 100 episode mark, highlighting amazing women living this bold, mobile, adventurous lifestyle. And I just love this community. You guys are the best. Okay, enough of the sappy stuff. Part of our summer break included something really exciting for us, which was a trip to Hawaii. Yes, I'm still pinching myself. It was so freaking awesome that I knew I had to record an episode about it. And I'm not going to share like flight deals or travel hacks. I'm not really good at that stuff. Don't have a lot of intel there. But if you do want that kind of info, you should check out my interview with Alita from Alley Travel Points in the episode right before this one. She is a genius with credit card hacking, and that episode is basically a crash course in travel hacking 101. So go listen to this after this one. Okay, but this episode is about everything I wish someone had told me before I traveled to Hawaii with kids. Because if you're like me, an RVer who also loves to mix it up with a good flight or a cruise, you might be eyeing Hawaii as one of those bucket list trips. But my hope is that this episode inspires you to move that dream from someday to an actual date on your calendar in the near future. Here we go. Let me give you some quick context to our trip. None of us had ever been to the Hawaiian Islands before this summer. And even though we've been full-time RVing for nearly 3 years, we don't usually take long vacations in, like psychotically beautiful places. So this trip felt extra special. And we visited Kona Island specifically. It's also known as the Big Island because obviously it's the largest of the Hawaiian Islands. And fun fact, its southern tip is the southernmost point of the United States. Okay, if you are a Florida Keys person, some people argue that the southernmost point is in the Florida Keys. Honestly, I don't have a horse in that race, so let's just call it a tie and move on. But it's pretty fun when you're in Hawaii. It's like a whole thing. So let's talk about some things that no one told me before going to Hawaii that I wish I would have known. First of all, at a very high level, Hawaii really is just as gorgeous as everyone says it is. On the Big Island alone, that's the only one we visited, you will experience so many different terrains. Like it only takes 8 hours to drive the entire island. And every 30 minutes or so, the landscape completely changes. By the way, I 100% recommend renting a car. It's totally worth the cost. So like you'll go from misty rainforest to mountain views to like black lava fields that are completely desolate. And then you'll hit like white sandy beaches and then grasslands. You guys, it is wild and it's incredibly beautiful. And if you're wondering, yes, absolutely rent a car. Second of all, I had no idea how rich and cool the Hawaiian culture is. Like, I've seen it in movies and I knew they said aloha, but did you know that aloha doesn't just mean hello or goodbye? It literally means love. Yes, that is the energy this culture greets each other with. And the history, like how the Pacific Islanders navigated and settled these islands, you guys, it's just amazing. So be sure to visit like any historical landmarks or national monuments near you whenever you visit. And also go to a hula performance. It's a real thing. It's not just in movies, and it's totally worth it. It's totally fun. So just get into it while you're there. Now let's talk about logistics, because especially if you're traveling with kids, and you're like me, it might make you like have sweaty armpits and bite all your nails off. Just thinking about it. So our journey specifically, we started in Nebraska, which is our home base. And our flights included a morning departure from Omaha. We had a layover in Phoenix, and then a 6-hour flight to Kona Island. Now, if you're like me, like I said, just thinking about this with young kids, and our kids were 8 and 11 at the time, it kind of gives you like some hives. It is actually not that bad. Here's a few things that I did that helped. So we started pushing our kids' bedtimes later, about a month before the trip, to help with the time zone change. We had been in the Eastern time zone until like mid-May, and our trip was in early June. So like at the beginning of May, I was already like pushing bedtimes back because I was really worried about sleep and them getting enough sleep and being grumpy. It's a whole thing. So we started that early. Another thing I did that helped a lot was like start shopping for clothes several weeks ahead of time. Like I thought we were going to be there for 10 days. And I didn't think we would have any laundry service because we were staying at a resort. And so I wanted everyone to have like exactly 10 outfits to cover this entire trip. Honestly, there ended up being a washer and dryer available to us at the resort. So it was kind of pointless. But I did a lot of pre-planning as far as clothing and just thought a lot about that. Music is really important to our family. Did you know I was once a jazz saxophonist? Yep. When we started traveling full-time, I knew I had to find a way for my kids to learn an instrument from the road. I am so glad we found Hoffman Academy, the leading online platform for kids to learn piano. It's a complete music education that's affordable and packed with both music theory and fun. Over the past year, my little second grader learned how to read music, play with both hands, and even play chords. Click the link in the show notes to sign up for a premium membership today and use code RVQueens for 15% off. Everyone knows that Colorado is one of the most beautiful places to camp in the U.S., right? Okay, if you're heading there this year, you've got to check out the Four Corners area near Mesa Verde and stay at the Cortez RV Resort by Our Journey. You'll enjoy mountain views, a heated pool, and even a 3-acre dog park. What? Click the link in the show notes to book now and start your journey with Our Journey. Another thing we did that was super helpful was Drew and I both blocked off the entire day before our departure from Omaha just for packing and prep. Like we just knew if you haven't taken a super big trip like this before, don't think you can cram stuff into that day before. It's not going to happen. Just keep yourself sane. And another thing, okay, so I'm a list person. I made individual packing lists for the kids, and then I just trusted them to pack. So that day before, I did not micromanage them. I didn't double check it. Like it was a total stress saver for me. We all survived. They did what they needed to. I trusted them. They rose to the occasion. It was wonderful. Okay, so the flight itself. I don't know if you guys are used to going on long flights with young kids. I'm not. Usually we have like maybe a 2-hour flight at a time, which is manageable. A 6-hour flight is not as bad as you think. Like I mentioned, we went from Omaha to Phoenix. That was about 2 hours, had a little layover. And then from Phoenix, the 6-hour flight from Phoenix to Kona, it went better than I expected. That said, here is something that no one warned me about. There is no meal service on that long haul flight. None. Like, I mean, besides just like, here's some drinks and some peanuts or whatever. Last time I took an overseas flight, they brought a hot meal out, but I guess that's gone now. I don't know. Or maybe it was just our airline. So thank you, 2020, yet again, for another like travel weirdness. So I actually knew that ahead of time, and I prepped gallon-sized snack bags and sandwiches and stuff for each of us. Like we do that on long RV travel days too. So we each had one in our backpacks and saved them specifically for the final leg of the flight. That would be kind of like a dinner situation. Also worth noting about going to Hawaii. This is interesting. So you have to sign a waiver saying that you're not bringing any plants or produce into Hawaii. This is like, I remember we had to do this when we went to California and crossed in on that border, I guess maybe. So they kind of treat it like an international situation. I don't know. So there's like a whole thing around that. Also on the flights, my kids literally watch screens the entire time. Which they never get to do. If you know us at all, like we are not a screen loving family. It's like they get maybe 30 minutes a day. And then every once in a while we have a family movie night. And honestly, screens were a gift. No one lost their mind. And it was very helpful in this situation. So that's how we got through. And here is a little travel hack on a practical note that I want to share with you. I don't usually have a lot of travel hacks to share. I'm not that type of person, but here's one little cost savings hack to share with you. This is around the check bags. Okay, so we had packed 4 roller bags, one for each of us, and 4 backpacks. So everyone had their own carry-on, everyone had a roller bag. The 2 smaller roller bags, which were for the kiddos, and then we had one big one for Drew and I. And then we had an extra roller bag, which we packed it with what we called family essentials. So in case we lost all of our other luggage, we at least had like jammies and toothbrush and, our essentials. We checked the big bag, of course. And then we also paid to check the kids' bags too. So on the flight, we had planned we would just each have a backpack. And then we would have that family essentials bag. But, that's like, I don't know, $35 a bag or something that we had to check. At the gate, though, they offered complimentary bag checks to save on overhead space. So next time, we'll just skip the fee of checking the kids' bags, and then we'll just, take them up on the complimentary bag check at the gate. So there you go. There's a little tiny bit of cost savings on your way to Hawaii. Now, something else I want to talk about is sleep. You guys, the time change is rough. It is very far away. It's way in the middle of the ocean. The first few days, probably the first 24 to 36 hours, we were all grumpy and exhausted by 6 p.m. Because, we had just mostly been on Eastern time and then a little bit on Central time. And then you're like, whoa, you're way out of whack. So at 6 p.m., it felt like midnight to all of our bodies, and we had to force ourselves to stay awake. And then, we'd crash by 8 p.m. And then me and Drew, especially, we would wake up at 2 a.m., felt like 8 a.m. to us. And just okay, cool. Guess what? I just need to force myself to sleep for a few more hours. So eventually we adjusted to a rhythm of early mornings, lots of outdoor time to kind of get your systems all lined up with the sun and everything. And then we would just all wind down early in the evenings. And me and Drew fell asleep at the same time as the kids every night. So, sleep, it's going to be all right. The kids, honestly, were more resilient than me and Drew were. So it'll work out. Now, finally, I have to talk about a must do on the islands. You have to go snorkeling. You guys, I've never snorkeled before. It was like being inside a scene from Little Mermaid. And I'm not exaggerating. We saw coral reefs, rainbow fish, sea turtles, manta rays, and a friend of ours swam, she saw spinner dolphins. I didn't even know these existed. They're tiny little spinning dolphins that travel together. And if you go to Kona Island specifically, you have to rent the snorkel gear and head to a spot called Two Step. It is 1,000% worth it. Don't make my rookie mistake, which was not wearing the little fins that come with the snorkel gear because I thought they were dorky. I thought I would be fine without them. I stepped on one of those black sea urchins that are super pointy. It's called Vana when you're down in Hawaii. Extremely painful. And I limped around the island for a week. So just wear the fins, rent the snorkel gear, see the Little Mermaid fish. It is so magical. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say in closing. If Hawaii is on your bucket list, you guys, bump it up. Like, make it real. Even if you're traveling with kids, even if the logistics feel intimidating, I promise you it's doable and it is so worth it. So maybe go listen to that conversation with Alita about the travel points and the credit card hacking. Maybe that's a way that you can get there if money feels tight this year. But you guys, this trip reminded me like why we do what we do, why we work so hard to build businesses with freedom and flexibility, why we trade convention for adventure. Like the memories you make in places like this, they will stay with you forever. Seriously. I know I'm like sappy right now, but it was seriously great. So, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode inspired you or helped you prep for a trip of your own, send me a DM on Instagram at RV Queens Podcast. I'd love to hear about it. And if you've been to Hawaii, tell me your favorite island or your snorkel spots so we can start planning a round two. All right, my friend, until next time, keep dreaming big, keep traveling well, and making money on the road. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode and for being part of the RV Queens community. Remember to hit subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And guess what? You can have conversations like I had on this episode with your fellow RV women who are living intentionally and making money on the road. Head to rvqueenspodcast.com/community to join RV Queen Circles today. It's a totally unique online space with a shared prosperity model that's all about community over competition. I'd love to have you be a part. All right, guys, I'll see you next week, or hopefully I will see you on the road. It is so magical.